This evening, the government of Guyana is soon to launch its Media Communication Academy. LAPHARFITE businessman home BURGLE while away with family. Guyana Police Force officers educate truck drivers on road safety. In the region, El Salvador journalists, activists allege use of PEGASUS spyware, and internationally, little cheer for Year of the Tiger in China as COVID-19. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. The Ministry of Home Affairs, the Guyana Police Force, and the Air Corps are investigating the circumstances surrounding the discovery of an illegal aircraft with Venezuelan registration number YV506 abandoned off an illegal airstrip located in Curudani, about 20 kilometers from the Curupukari crossing. According to information received, ranks from the Mabaruma police station on Saturday, January 29th, discovered the Cessna 310 model aircraft, which is a high-speed, retractable gear single-engine plane in the bushes covered with branches and a tarpaulin. The propeller was removed and placed under the aircraft. It is suspected that the aircraft is without key documentation, which will make it difficult to track the airframe, engine, and propeller time. A search conducted in the area around the aircraft found no illegal substances in either the cabin or cargo space. Nothing was found in the immediate vicinity either. According to the preliminary assessment by the lead engineer, the damage to the aircraft is extensive and beyond repairs. However, the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority continues to conduct further assessments as investigations continue. The Guyana Police Force is investigating the burglary of a businessman's home on the west bank of the Marara, who was robbed while out with his family. Esther Sobers has more.
Ranks of the Guyana Police Force in Regional Division 3 is looking into an alleged break-and-enter and larceny at the home of a 38-year-old businessman from LAPHARFITE Harmony, West Bank, Demerara, on Monday, January 31st. According to a police report, around 5:45 p.m., the victim secured his home and left for a short while. He returned around 8:50 p.m. in the company of his family, and upon entering the yard, he heard a noise coming from the back door, which is facing the northern direction. Upon making checks, the man discovered that the said door had been opened, as had a northern window through which the perpetrators gained entry. Further checks were made by the victim in the home and discovered one laptop, one Toshiba laptop valued unknown, one Amazon tablet valued around $15,000, and two flash drives valued at $2,000 each were missing. Investigations are in progress. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. The government will soon be launching the Media Communication Academy to increase the capacity of media workers in Guyana. During a budget debate, Kwame McCoy, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for public affairs, stated that the budget provides for the upscaling of media operatives to ensure better delivery of messages in a more creative form. According to Minister McCoy, registered learners will gain international certification and raise their professional profile as accredited specialists or expert practitioners as a result of the courses. Noting that the academy would be a game changer for Guyana's information landscape, the Public Affairs Minister said the media would evolve into the digital future, becoming more responsive in line with the government's national development agenda. Additionally, the minister stated that hundreds of youths from across the country have been trained in basic information and communication technologies, a program that will continue in 2022. Stick around after the break. Ministry of Health recorded a decrease in COVID-19 cases over the last 2 weeks, and Guyana Police Force officers educate drivers on road safety.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries, and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown. Only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony, during today's COVID-19 update, said the Ministry of Health recorded a decrease in COVID-19 cases over the last 2 weeks. The minister said fewer persons are testing positive for the virus and hospitalization rates are lower.
This number came down from what it was a couple days ago. And what we have noticed is that there have been a downward trend over the last 2 weeks or so. So our positivity rate has been falling. That means the amount of tests that is being done and the amount of persons coming back positive, that has been falling. So it shows that we are getting less cases. Of those persons who have been infected, just about 1.6% of them would be in the hospital. And of those in the hospital, most of them would recover. Also, since a lot of the persons are not coming into the hospital, after about 7 days or so, after about 7 days after they would have tested positive, they can go back to work.
There are currently a total of 11,610 active cases across the country. 133 persons are currently hospitalized, with 11 patients in the intensive care unit. The minister continues to urge people to acquire both doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. He also reiterated persons getting boosted because a person's immunity begins to wane after the first 5 months following the second dose.
As we know, even if you have both doses, you still need to get your booster. And we want to encourage those persons who are now eligible, meaning that they are 5 months out from their second dose, to come and get their booster dose. The reason for this is that after about 5 to 6 months, the antibodies in your system starts to wane, meaning that it gets lower, and therefore your capacity to fight the COVID-19 disease would drop. So you need to get boosted, and that's why we are encouraging people to get the booster shot.
With more persons coming forward to maintain a constant immunity, 38,916 persons took their booster doses. 82.5% of the country's adult population took the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, while some 61% are fully inoculated.
And from these numbers, as you can see, we still have a number of persons who need to come out and get their first dose, whether they're adults or children between 12 to 17, they still need to get their first dose. And there are also room for improvement in the second dose vaccination.
In terms of the 12 to 17 age group, 44.7% received the first dose, while 31.5% took both doses of the Pfizer vaccine. The vaccination rate among this age cohort remains low. Officers from the Guyana Police Force took time to teach a few truck drivers the importance of driving responsibly. Esther Sobers has more.
On Tuesday, ranks from Regional Division 4B Traffic Department, led by Woman Sergeant Barnes and Sergeant Mohammed, held a traffic education lecture with approximately 30 lorry drivers at Garden of Eden, East Bank, Demerara, February 1st, 2022. Several road safety issues were reviewed during the brief but informative meeting. Among the topics were defensive driving, types of accidents, road racing, faulty parking and its effects on other road users, maintenance of motor vehicle and the importance of having all documents up to date, the importance of having at least 2 reflectors or cones at all times in the event of a mechanical problem, especially at nights. COVID-19 guidelines must be adhered to at all times, road signs and marking. Several drivers raised numerous concerns concerning truck driving. The questions were addressed by the ranks. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. El Salvador's journalists, activists allege use of Pegasus spyware, and UK PM sorry for Partygate as report slams leadership failures. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sooner or later, you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? Inverter Tech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Welcome back. Now here's Esther Sobers with the regional and international news.
Good evening. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Dozens of journalists and activists in El Salvador says military-grade spyware technology has been used to crack their phones. Government critics say it was the president's latest tactics to silence opposing voices. Al Jazeera John Hallman reports.
Julia Gavarete's phone had been acting strangely. She relives the moment she realized for sure that it was bugged.
Well, I was driving, and I remember that I got the first email, and by that moment we were confirmed that Pegasus was targeting.
Pegasus, the spying software only sold to governments. Julia was one of 22 staffers at the news site El Faro who had their phones repeatedly infected, according to the University of Toronto's Citizen Lab. She says many of the attacks came as El Faro published exposés on the government of El Salvador, headed by President Nayib Bukele.
What can they pull out of it during an attack?
Everything. They can see, for example, what the message that you are typing, or they can get access to your contacts, to your images, your videos. It's like to having an unlocked cell phone in your hand.
The journalists at El Faro weren't the only ones. Other media outlets and civil rights figures were bugged too, says Citizen Lab, including transparency lawyer Jose Marinero.
I think this is also a sign of the times, a sign of this government. This is a government which is intolerant to critics, is intolerant to public scrutiny, is intolerant to accountability. And while there's still no hard evidence that the spying came from the government, everything seems to point to the doorsteps of the Salvadorian government.
Which strongly denies the phone bugging. But there have been worrying signs that the president doesn't have democracy at the top of his agenda, say critics, starting from 2020, when he marched soldiers into Congress, a shock for a country which only escaped civil war 30 years ago. The president in turn has accused independent media outlets like El Faro of lying and attacking his government. In 2020, he announced the outlet was under investigation for money laundering. In El Salvador, many people are on his side. His approval ratings are in the 80s. In the working-class barrio of San Luis III, Carla Vasquez pats out the day's tortillas and tells us why.
He's helped more than the other governments. For them it was only in the campaign. Only then they remembered our neighbourhood. But with him, no. He hasn't forgotten us. He always remembers us, the poorest.
The neighbourhood's less dangerous under Bukele. There's been cash to help them through the pandemic, even laptops for her boys to be able to keep studying. She dismisses the media exposés as fake news and montages. Like many others, she believes the president. Just walking around this neighbourhood, San Luis III, you understand why President Bukele is so overwhelmingly popular with the majority of Salvadorans. He's given them money, he's given them food, he's even given them computers for their children during the pandemic. And what all that means to them is that he's someone that's concerned about them, the poorer Salvadorans, in a way that other presidents haven't been. Bukele promises these people he will take care of them. Will he do the same for the country's journalists, lawyers, activists, all those who are critical of him? In El Salvador, that's the burning question. John Holman, Al Jazeera.
Internationally, the coronavirus pandemic is once again dampening Lunar New Year celebrations in China and elsewhere in Asia, even as increasing vaccination rates raise hopes that the Year of the Tiger might bring back closer to normal. Al Jazeera Katrina Yu reports.
Televised musical performances, bright red decorations, and big meals with relatives. These are common Lunar New Year traditions in China. But this year, Qi Qing is missing out on her annual family gathering in the northeast. The hotel restaurant manager has been forced to stay put in Beijing where she works because of coronavirus restrictions.
I feel sad that I can't go home this year and meet my family, but I need to follow the government's instructions because we're in a pandemic. I don't want to cause trouble for my country, my employer or my family.
Chinese authorities are battling to contain an outbreak of the Omicron and Delta variants of the virus, which has spread to 20 provinces and 50 cities, including the capital. To control infections, many of the millions of migrant workers who usually return home for the holiday have been warned against travel. Restrictions vary per region. Testing is compulsory. In some areas, a period of quarantine or isolation is required. This video of a Communist Party official warning anyone who didn't comply with rules would be detained went viral last week. The controls have sparked complaints on social media, with many users saying migrant workers deserve to be reunited with family at least once a year. Analysts say they're especially impacted by COVID regulations.
A lot of workers, actually, they have missed the chance to reunite with their families for already 2 years now, and a lot of them can only connect with their kids using the phones, and they have not meet up with their parents, and they can only rely on the phone for quite a long time.
Authorities are under pressure to keep infections to zero ahead of the Winter Olympics, which opens on Friday. In Beijing, decorations are up, but celebrations are muted and large gatherings banned.
Before the pandemic, hundreds of thousands of people would flock here to Ditan Park to celebrate the Lunar New Year. There would be dragon dances, market stalls and live music. But for the third year in a row, the iconic festival has been cancelled.
Qi Qing will work over the holidays and plans to celebrate quietly with colleagues. But despite her disappointment at not going home, she says it's better than spending the festival under quarantine. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
And finally, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has apologized after a report found alcohol-fueled parties at his offices and residence while COVID-19 lockdown rules were enforced should have never taken place. The report into the lockdown British parties at his offices criticized failures of leadership and judgment.
A failure of leadership behind the famous Black Door. Sue Gray's crunch findings, more biting than expected. The report talks of high standards not being met by those setting the rules, of excessive alcohol consumption in the workplace and gatherings without clear authorisation or oversight. Some behaviour, she said, was difficult to justify against the backdrop of the pandemic. With nothing overtly critical of Johnson himself, it's perhaps not the big takedown his rivals hoped for. A contrite Prime Minister appearing in front of Parliament, promising to overhaul Downing Street and clean up government, but no talk of stepping down.
And I'm sorry for the things we simply didn't get right, and also sorry for the way that this matter has been handled. I get it, and I will fix it. And I want to say to the people of this country, I know what the issue is. Yes, Mr. Speaker, yes. It's whether this government can be trusted to deliver. And I say, Mr. Speaker, yes, we can be trusted.
Sue Gray had been planning to release a fuller report until London's Metropolitan Police stepped in, calling for her to pare down her findings while they carry out their own criminal investigation into 12 gatherings, including an alleged party in Johnson's flat. For Johnson's opponents, it isn't just about what's in the Sue Gray report, but what's not in it. For his fiercest critics, they will have to wait for the results of the police investigation to find out more about the most serious offences that could cause the most harm to Johnson's political career. But the results of that investigation could be many, many months away.
Even now, he is hiding behind a police investigation into criminality, into his home and his office. The British public aren't fools. They never believed a word of it. They think the Prime Minister should do the decent thing and resign.
But it's not just the opposition that's been ramping up pressure on Johnson. Some of his own MPs have been quietly plotting against him. Other familiar faces are determined to hold his actions to account.
What the Gray report does show is that Number 10 Downing Street was not observing the regulations they had imposed on members of the public. So either my right honourable friend had not read the rules, or didn't understand what they meant, and others around him, or they didn't think the rules applied to Number 10. Which was it?
Monday saw a flurry of announcements by Number 10 on the economy, Brexit and Ukraine. This is a government eager to steer attention away from recent scandals. But when it comes to Partygate, there are still more truths to uncover. Heads, including the Prime Minister's, may yet roll if enough members of his own party decide it's time for him to go. Niamh Barker, Al Jazeera, Westminster.
Thanks, Esther. Now here's your 3-day weather forecast. That is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. Tune in on Wednesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Make sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.